Hey, what's up? Do you like Dwayne The Rock Johnson? No, like, I'm not saying like just the guy, just like, you know, him as an actor and stuff. Most people would be like, yeah, he's an alright actor. Yeah, he's decent in whatever movies I see him in. It's fun.
Are you hurt? Are you hurt? Are you hurt?
So, explain this to me. If he's such a decent actor to everybody, then why did he make $89 million in 2019? It makes no sense why this guy is literally the highest paid actor for like 4 years. He's one of the worst actors, personally in my opinion, I think I've ever seen on the goddamn screen. I think Kevin Hart, in comparison, should be getting an Academy Award, a fucking, you know, that French leaf thing, I don't know what it's called because I can't pronounce French words. And the most frustrating thing about it, all of it is he's such an egotistical narcissist, and on all of his social media.
Ciao ragazzone.
What?
Sono piuttosto affamato.
What do you want?
Voglio andare al grigliata da infarto.
No, we can't go to the Heart Attack Grill, you'll die.
Non essere una femminuccia. Voglio un cheeseburger sestuplo.
There's nothing for you to eat there, you're a fucking turtle.
Sono 6 polpette su un panino.
We can go to Olive Garden if you want.
Non c'è modo.
Went to Olive Garden last week. You want to go to Olive Garden?
Preferirei andare all'inferno ad un appuntamento con Satana.
Want to go to Red Lobster before they go out of sale?
Fuori vendita. Il loro fratello sta andando in bancarotta.
Bankrupt? They're going bankrupt?
Questo è quello che ho appena detto del cazzo.
Red Lobster's going bankrupt?
Backup.
Yeah, we gotta go to Red Lobster.
Sì.
Alright, Mom, you want to go to Red Lobster? Sure. Alright. Let's go.
Prendo la gran seola artica gambe. Non me ne frega un cazzo di quanto costano.
Why do you want to go to the Heart Attack Grill?
Ho fame.
Fucking jeez.
8 hours later.
Well, did you enjoy your snow crab legs, Sam?
Voglio dire, loro stavamo bene.
What do you mean they were just alright? They were like $100.
E allora?
I really enjoyed mine. What are you talking about?
Sto parlando di andare al cuore griglia d'attacco.
Yeah, well, next time we're not gonna go to the Heart Attack Grill. I don't care how many times you ask me, okay?
L'aragosta rossa fa schifo e la cameriera era fastidiosa.
What do you mean the waitress was annoying?
Sei serio? Ti stava totalmente colpendo.
What do you mean she was hitting on me? And why would you care? It just go have fun, okay?
Vado alla griglia da solo, immagino.
Put you in your cage in a little bit, brother. Yeah, I go to bed soon though. But as I was saying before, I was very rudely interrupted. The whole reason I brought up the Dwayne The Rock Johnson before was pretty much just because this woman that I'm about to talk about today was pretty much the Dwayne The Rock Johnson of her era. Ah, shit. And that brings us all to Charlotte Crabtree, and she was born in 1847 in New York City. And only a year or two after she was born, her father, John, would move to San Francisco because he was a bookseller, and apparently back in the day, a lot of
booksellers went to San Fran to sell books.
And by 1853, Charlotte and her mother would move to California to meet up with their dad. They would have moved to a town called Grass Valley. And here in Grass Valley is where she would meet Mr. Miyagi, and that's where he would teach her on how to defeat Cobra Kai.
Wax on, wax off. Don't forget to breathe. Very important.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this, folks. I have no idea what's happening here. I don't know. Sam just keeps getting into my goddamn scripts because I just keep falling asleep and leaving them on the floor, and he just keeps changing everything that I wrote, so, yeah, that's done. But what I was trying to say was that in Grass Valley is where she would meet Lola Montez. And Lola Montez at the time was an actual real performer where she would go out to these mining towns where these prospectors were. And she would put on this seductive spider dance, which, you know, you can just imagine what that looks like.
What the hell?
And because of this experience that Lola Montez would have on the stage and on theater, she would use this experience and she would teach the 6-year-old Charlotte how to sing and dance right across the street from her home. And after only a couple of months of her trying to practice and teach this little 6-year-old on how to sing and dance, she had progressed at such a fast rate that Lola would start bringing Charlotte down to the local mine where in the town there was a blacksmith, and miners, you know, they need new pickaxes, they need new equipment, you know, constantly repaired and serviced by the blacksmith all the time. So the blacksmith was always usually situated right next to where the mine was, so it wasn't too hard for miners to get around. So because that's where the most money was being thrown around back then, because this was pretty much just a bunch of old drunk dudes mining gold, Lola and Charlotte would go down there, and Lola would put Charlotte up on top of the blacksmith's anvil and have her sing and dance to all the prospectors, and the prospectors would literally tip this little girl in gold nuggets. And, you know, seems a little weird, seems a little iffy, but at the same time, I would do that shit if I was 6. So, you know, you can't really say it's that weird. I'd fucking take some goddamn gold nuggets right now.
Because that's where the money at.
And by the time Charlotte was 9 years old, her and her family would move back to San Francisco. And because of this, there was actually a place not too far away from their house that would actually put on stage performances. And that's where Charlotte would actually become known as Miss Lotta, putting on her first stage performance in 1856. And after this performance, she would start to tour the West Coast, playing the banjo, singing and dancing on the stage. And most of the places she would go were mining camps and cities primarily, because those two places were where most of the moolah was being made.
Because that's where the money at.
And by the time she was 17, she wasn't just famous in the West Coast, she actually became a national phenomenon and became pretty much a star for what it was back then. And she would begin touring the entire East Coast, and even after that, she began touring some parts of Europe as well. And that's what I mean by saying that this woman is pretty much just Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson doesn't really come from that much royalty. I mean, his dad was a pretty famous wrestler, but, you know, it's not like he had to become a famous wrestler. You look at most famous wrestlers, their, you know, sons and daughters don't usually go into the same thing because they don't want their kids to get CTE too. And the thing is I'm not saying that her parents were bad parents, but I mean, the dude was just a bookseller. And when I say that, I don't mean he was writing books or even a book publisher. I mean, he literally just traveled the country selling books like he was a traveling fucking library. And because of this fact, I think it's even crazier that this woman would become so famous, because she literally came from nothing. Her parents weren't really anybody, and out of nowhere, she just lived next door to some, you know, person that wasn't even that famous. She was just an entertainer in the local area, and she saw something in this little girl and, you know, wanted to teach her a thing or two about, you know, jumping around with the banjo, you know. I got horns to open bottles, and I got horns to hold my rack. I got horns to hold my other horns. Oh, be prepared, be prepared. And by the 1880s, Lotta was literally making about $5,000 per week from her entertainment, which in today's money was probably about close to a couple $100,000. You know, I'll put it up on the screen. I'll put it up on screen right here because I don't feel like doing the math right now, but future me will do the math, and it will be right here, and you will look at the fucking words that are on the screen. And this entire time, her mother Mary Ann would actually be the main manager of her affairs, and she would mainly invest all of her daughter's money into real estate, investment bonds, and even some racehorses. And the fourth thing she did with her money was actually donate some of her money to charity. And even to this day, one of the charities called the Massachusetts Society for Aiding Discharged Prisoners, to this day still gets annual grants from the Lotta Crabtree Foundation, which is absolutely insane. This woman was literally entertaining motherfuckers almost 200 years ago at this point. And the craziest part about this is that there's literally some dudes that are getting out of prison that are getting, you know, meal, you know, cards and food grants from a charity. And the charity is literally funded by a woman that was entertaining dudes literally almost 200 years ago, which is just absolutely insane to think about. The impact that someone could have for that long is truly weird. And Lotta would be making so much money at this point that she would actually retire at the age of 45, which is insanely early for anyone to retire, even for back then. And this is how she would become America's first millionaire entertainer. And after retiring at the age of 45, she would go on to live another 32 long, happy, and healthy years until she would die in her golden years at the age of 77 in Boston, Massachusetts, 1924. And because Lotta Crabtree would never marry or have any kids of her own, she would leave all of her $4 million fortune to all the charities that her estate ran. And that's why to this day, her estate literally still gives out some annual grants to some of those charities. And that's pretty much it. That's the story of America's first millionaire entertainer. And the craziest part about it is if you look at my last video about Buster Keaton, he literally started doing all that crazy stuff when the dude was like 3 years old. And I'm not saying I want to get rid of child labor laws or anything, but all I'm saying is if you get your kids some sort of thing that they're actually passionate about and you push them towards it at a very young age, they can succeed and make a good fortune for themselves. Just look at what South Korean esports are doing. I mean, you look at CSGO, you look at Overwatch, you look at, you know, League of Legends, Dota, you look at every single esport, and every single top team is just full of Koreans. Am I being racist? No. I'm actually being racist towards all the white people, because the white people fucking suck, because the Koreans literally get to work for like 16 hours a day, and they just constantly all day are just training, playing League of Legends all fucking day, 16 hours. Oh, QEW, that's all they do all day. And then the American esporters are over here, and because we actually have fucking regulations and sanctions, because we have fucking human rights and shit, literally we have to be like, maybe we shouldn't have our players literally spend 80% of their day playing video games. Maybe they should be able to go home and have a fucking life. And this concludes my TED Talk of why American esports suck. But that's pretty much it. I don't know. I don't know why I talked about that. I don't know where I went with any of this shit. I don't know. I'm going insane. You're probably going insane too if you like this video, or if you commented on this video, or maybe even if you subscribe to my channel. Maybe you're going a little crazy at that point. Maybe just wire me like $10,000 from your parents' bank account. Maybe that would be a little crazy. Maybe give me the little 3 numbers on the back of the credit card. That'd be a little goofy.
Epic Fortnite gamers, John Wick is in grave danger, and the only one who can help is you to save him. What he needs is your credit card number, the 3 numbers on the back, as well as the expiration month and date. Fortnite is in grave.
Thank you for watching my content, and thank you for sticking around to the end if you really made it this far. And I've been trying to make my videos more consistent, and hopefully I'm going to have a video out for you next week in the middle of the week, not on Sunday. I don't know when it's going to come out, whenever I want pretty much, but probably around like Thursday or Friday. So look out for it if you're looking out for it. Either way, have a good day. Ah!
Because that's where the money at.